we didn't know how to start. And I'm like, okay, I think we can start with like really people that we know already and just kind of get that fear of doing this out of the way. So thank you so much for doing it with me, Grace. I really
I'm,
appreciate
I'm happy to be your guinea pig.
it. That's I think half the stuff that we do in the business is like just guinea pigging things. Like, okay, let's see if this works, let's see if that works, let's see if this works. So Grace, okay, so for people who don't know you, tell them who you are, what you do, and what you will be remembered by once you are not of this world.
Wow, no pressure. I am Grace. We have been Little Helper customers for, oh gosh, like 5 years, I think, because my daughter's like
Is
four
it?
and a half. So it's been like 5 years. Yeah. We discovered Little Helper when we were getting licensed to be foster parents. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so we knew early on that there was a good chance we could have multiple little people in diapers all at once.
Wow.
And the idea of having multiple kids in various sizes of disposable diapers sounds miserable to me, especially when they can, show up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you have nothing. So we did some research and reached out, actually just asking, hey, could we get like a coupon code? Because we're going to buy like, 4-day packs probably. And you guys reached out to us and said, hey, we'd love to send you some to get started. And you did, and it was awesome. And we have been customers ever since.
So the
We've
first,
had,
so the first, did we send out the first, did we send out, did you buy something from us or did we send it out just like that?
I can't remember if, I think maybe we bought like a day pack and then you guys sent us like 2 or 3 on top of it. Like just
Okay,
saying,
yeah.
thank you for what you're doing. And so we were like, sold forever. We're going to be customers forever. And, we've tried other brands along the way, and every single time we just come back to Lil Helper. So we have given
And
up
this is
on it
for only
another.
cloth diapers or this is specifically cloth diapers, right?
Yes.
Grace? Okay. So, so I, coming back, I feel you were one of the first few people who helped us think of that foster parent program and the adoptive parent program. Like I've always been in awe of you and Jesse both. I'm like, these guys are literally doing God's work. I do not, I can't raise another child of my own. And imagine you doing it for kids. It's amazing, Grace. What inspired you to do this? Like, if there must be some reason, what was it?
Well, mostly when I was in high school and then in early college years, we had several friends who were foster parents. And so we kind of walked alongside their family as they experienced that. And then as I got older and out of college, I started teaching in a really low income area. My husband, was a police, he's not any longer, but he was a police officer. And so we were kind of both in these positions where we saw the need in our community and we saw that families were hurting and our community needed people to step in and be a support. And for us, our goal was never adoption. We have adopted twice now. Our paths did kind of go that way, but we have fostered about a dozen kids.
Wow.
And several of them we're still in contact with. We supported not just the children, but their families as well, whether that meant their biological mom, dad, or both, or if they were moved to kinship placement, walking alongside them to make sure, even if a child's only with us short term, like we just had a 5-year-old who left kind of recently. He was only with us about a month, but we went ahead and made sure all of the interventions he would need were in place, making sure we called our local school and said, this child's coming, this is what he's going to need to be successful. Just making sure that some of those needs can be met and families can understand that not everyone who fosters just wants a check. Not everybody who fosters is just wanting to adopt, but that we really do just want to be a source of good for our community, and just walk alongside people who are hurting and struggling and need support, learning a better way to parent and to raise their kids.
So you are the people who are basically showing up for your community when there is a need for it. Amazing, Grace. I like if for somebody like me, it is so far beyond my understanding even.
Don't mind my dog. Watson
No,
Hesh.
don't worry. It is so far beyond my understanding that you guys go out of your way to do this. So you are telling me 12 kids have been through your home. How long has their stay been with you?
They have been with us. So I think our shortest term was like a week, 2 weeks. She was a little 9-month-old. She was just an emergency placement. So we knew she was only going to be with us short term. And then our longest was just shy of 2 years, other than our two kiddos who we adopted. Obviously, they're stuck with me forever. But for the ones who left, about 2 years was the longest that they've been with us.
And how so a child that you have raised for 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
when you're raising them, are you their parent? Who are you? What role are you filling in their life?
So whatever they need me to be at the time, honestly. We always introduce ourselves as Grace and Jesse. We don't ever force a child to call us mom or dad because, I mean, I can just imagine if I was a 4-year-old and I showed up at your doorstep at 3 o'clock in the morning and I was like, I'm your mom, I would be terrified. Like, that's just not how we want to do things, how we want to kind of scar these poor little babies who are already kind of traumatized when they come to us. So we kind of think of ourselves, like, I usually call myself like the middle mom. I'm here in the middle between where you came from and where you're going to end up if it's not ultimately with us. And so I call myself the middle mom, and I just do everything I can to make sure they're set up for success. So some of those kids never really called us anything. Some of them did pick up on calling us mom and dad just because they hear our 4-year-old call us mom and dad. So they just call you whatever, they want. The two who were with us for 2 years were a brother and sister. When they left us, they were 4 and 6. While they were with us, they called us mom and dad. And it was actually really funny. We had a really good relationship with their mom. We still have a great relationship with them. And Aria would call their mom. Like, she would call me mom.
Your daughter would call their mother mom as well.
Yeah, she heard them call her mom. So they called us mom and dad. Aria would call us and their mom. Like, it just, and so
your foster
now,
parents so your foster kids are calling you mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
Your daughter is calling their. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So now that they have gone home and their mom is crushing it, she's doing fantastic. Aria, now she calls them her cousins, and they call us Auntie Grace and Uncle Jesse.
Beautiful.
So it just sort of depends on the child and what they want to call us usually. And it changes with time.
And how do you deal with, say, like with kids who have, if you've had 12 kids go through your home or been at that you've hosted 12 kids or had 12 kids at your place? What's the right word for it? Fostered 12 kids? Hosted 12 kids? What's the right word for it?
Yeah, fostering. Yeah, we fostered.
Fostering. Okay. So foster. When you have 12 kids go through your home, so is there some kind of sense of loss that you feel when a child goes away, or are you just ready for it from day one?
It's always sad. We kind of think of it as, love them deeply, but hold them loosely. While you're in my home, I'm not going to, kind of hold you at arm's length, because that's not good for anybody. If we're wanting them to form healthy attachments, especially when they're in that birth to age 2 kind of window, 2 or 3 window, those attachments are huge and have like lifelong impact on who they become as people. So I can't take a baby or a toddler and then kind of attach to them, but not really. And so we are all in. We are all in from the moment they come into our home, with the understanding that there is a 99% chance that it's not going to be forever, and that it's okay. Things can be hard and things can hurt, and that can still be okay, and it can still be good. And so we are hoping that as Aria gets older, she's had some really hard transitions. But we print a lot of pictures. We talk about the kids who leave. She has a photo in her room in a frame of every single foster sibling she's had throughout the last 4.5 years.
Wow.
And she can still call all of them by name. So helping her understand too, that it's okay to love people and it's okay for something to hurt and something to be hard, because usually that means you're doing a really good job. If they left and we didn't care, we probably didn't do our job.
Wow. And is this understanding that you got just through doing this, or was that the mindset you already had?
It definitely took some time to get there. It's
And
one
what
of those.
helped you?
Yeah, they hound on it in our fostering classes, thankfully. Like they would say all the time, we are not an adoption agency. We're not an adoption agency. And it's not supposed to be. The whole goal of fostering is that children reunify with biological family. And so we keep that in mind. And we have a rule, Jesse and I, that the word adoption is never discussed between us or between kids, anything, until it's literally on paper in front of us. Okay, you have to make a decision about this. And so, we've had, I'll just tell you the story because it's precious. Our little guy, Leo, who's about 1.5 years now, he came to us straight from the NICU. He was 5 weeks old. He was so tiny. He was like 4 pounds when he came home. He was so little. And he was the first placement we took younger than Aria. She really likes kids that are older than her. So we always kind of had kids that were older than her, and that worked. But when they called us for him, they called us specifically because they said, people have a hard time with babies when they have to leave. He has a lot of medical needs. We know you can meet that, but, he has a lot of biological family that's interested, that whole spiel. It was right before the holidays. He came to us right before Thanksgiving and Christmas and everything. So we were like, yes, we'll take him. And when he was just shy of like 6 months old, he left our home and went to a relative. Which we were expecting, but it was so hard. Like that was one of the hardest goodbyes we had ever said. And poor Aria was devastated. She was like, but he's my little brother. And I was like, I know, sweetheart. And you loved him so well. And, you have your picture. And then, so he left us on like a Saturday. And then every night she was like, tomorrow he's going to come home. Tomorrow he's coming home. And we had to be like, no, sweetheart. And then on that Monday night before bed, she was like, and she was praying before bed, and she said, and Jesus, and thank you really much that my baby brother comes home tomorrow. In Jesus' name, amen, with a clap at the end. And so I was, as a parent, you're like, well, what do I say to that? Because no, he's not. Like, so we kind of left it alone and went to bed, and Jesse and I sobbed. We were like, what are we going to do in the morning? Because she is adamant that this is her forever brother and he's coming home tomorrow morning first thing. And then so we went to bed, and we actually woke up to a phone call at like 6:15, 6:30 in the morning saying, can Leo come home?
Shut up.
Yeah. And so we went in her room. We were like,
how does that happen?
Right? And so we went in
there.
How
does that happen, Grace?
We were like, Aria, but Aria was like, I told you that. Like, she was like, why are you surprised? I already told you he's coming back.
Shut up.
And so then.
How does that happen?
Exactly. And so he came back. And so then it was kind of just a waiting game. And okay, you can't cry or I'm going to cry, because every time I tell that story, I cry, because it was just like that moment of, maybe we should listen to the 4-year-old more often. But they are just, the cutest pair. And then the day his official plan changed to adoption, I came home from court and I was like, Aria, are you so excited? It's going to take some time, but we're going to get to adopt Leo. It's going to be exciting. And she said, oh, what about the baby in your belly? And I said, what are you talking about, Aria? She said, yeah, because I'm going to have 2. I'm going to have Leo and then the baby in your belly. And I took a pregnancy test and she was right again. I was pregnant with Holden, which we were not expecting.
And Holden is your first
Our first biological baby. Yeah. And she told me about him too. And I was like, wait a minute. You're freaking me out now.
That is crazy.
Like something about her. It's like she just knows. She just knows.
My God. These things, like I personally, I don't know if you know this, Grace. I am not a believer.
Mm-hmm.
But when something like this happens, like you have to believe, like something is going on that I don't understand. How did she know?
And then as a grown-up, it makes you feel like, when did I lose that? Like, when did I lose that wonder and that belief of things will work out for good? Like, things will work out the way that they're supposed to. You know what I mean? Like, she's just
insane. So Grace, now you've had your biological child. Is the love different that you have for your fostered, your adoptive kids, or your kids that you're fostering, and your biological child? Is that love the same? Love is love?
It is very, very similar. I think the only thing that feels different is that with Holden, there wasn't this feeling of having to wait. Like with Aria, we knew from the point she was like 3 or 4 weeks old that her case was going to go to adoption, but she was 14 months old before it happened. So there's this in-between waiting, and there's this caseworkers in the house and social workers and document everything and every appointment, and you have to do this, you have to do that. And with Holden, it was kind of just like being handed a baby and then, okay, good luck. And I'm like, wait, does this one come with check-ins too? Like, who comes monthly to see that his room is okay? Like,
oh my God.
Like Aria asked us, she was like, well, who's his social worker? I was like, well, he doesn't have one. And then she was like, well, are we going to adopt him too? And when I said, well, no, we don't have to adopt Holden, she bawled. She was like, no, because I love him. So we were like, you know what? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep, he's adopted.
We're going to adopt him.
We're just gonna, you're 4, you don't understand this part of this concept. So yes, he's forever. He's staying. Like, just.
You're saying. We just adopted him from the hospital out. He's out.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, Jesse. Wow, Grace. I'm like, it's crazy that. So, and Grace, have all the kids that you've had, I hear people saying that, oh my God, like, cloth diapering one child is difficult. And have you cloth diapered all the kids that went through your home with through fostering? Did you cloth diaper everybody, or selectively, or how did you actually manage?
Everyone who was in diaper age. Like, our very first placement was 12, so obviously he did not. And like the 6-year-old was, when she was 6, she was not in cloth. But everybody else who was like in that really like birth to 2.5 range of being in diapers, they have all been in cloth.
Wow. And you cloth diapered all of them?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So it's been like, I want to say 8, maybe 9.
8 or 9 kids.
8 or 9 kids.
Through diapers, through cloth diapers. And Lil Helper, most of them, or like a mix of everything?
I think we only have 3 diapers that are not Lil Helper. Like,
wow.
When Leo came home, obviously his little 4-pound self, he just couldn't wear Lil Helpers yet. He was just, until he got closer to like 6 pounds. So we got, I think they were Alva brand newborns, but it was, for us, it was like counting down the time until his little chicken legs got big enough to be in our Lil Helpers, because we just love them. Like, they're what work for us. We don't have leak issues. We don't have blowout issues. I don't have to worry about if a newborn shows at my house or an 18-month-old shows up at my house. Like, the same diaper will work for either. Like, for me, the convenience of that outweighs but you might have 2 extra loads of laundry. And for us, like, we use the baby clothes or kid clothes to bulk our diaper laundry anyway. And so it's really not extra laundry, because it's just the kids' clothes anyway, like the stuff that we have to wash anyway.
And the cloth diapers that you had for 5 years, how many of them, like Lil Helper diapers from 5 years ago, how many of them have given way? How many are just done?
None.
No.
We
Some of
have
them must have gone, right? Like
no.
something must
I
have
think
gone.
we have two that maybe the elastics have relaxed a little, but
And
that's
they are
like
the
it.
5 years old.
Like I have like one of the really like old school red ones
Oh
that
my
I
God,
have
love that.
pictures of Aria in when she was small, and then Holden was just in like this weekend. He wore it like because I was doing his weekly picture, and I was like, hey, let's put you in the red one. It matches your little shoes. It'll be so cute. And just thinking like Aria wore this when she was a teeny tiny little baby like he
Yeah.
is.
And this is, I think, the one of the problems with our product. We have over-engineered the damn thing, and it doesn't break down quickly enough.
It doesn't break down.
Yeah, and this is actually, I'm joking, obviously. This is by design. Like, we want things to last as long as they can. I don't like the idea of buying things temporarily.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I like these things take so much time, effort, and like even from our end, we want it to last for you as long as you want to use them. And I'm so happy that the vision that we've had with all of our products is actually coming true. Now, we've been in business for 10 years. I know people who have used some of our diapers for 9 years and they're still using them. And like, I'm like, Katrina, let it go. And it's like, it's still okay. It's still okay. I'm like, okay. So this is good. Grace, I wanted to. I see that you're super active in our Unsnapped community and our 2.0 group and our ambassador group. Tell me, during the pandemic, or even before and after it, or well, we're still in the pandemic, but has that community helped you kind of with your mental health or whatever, just as an outlet?
Yes, and it's been really cool because there's like this whole little cluster of us right now that have babies that are all like really close in age to Holden. So there's this group of like 4 to 6 or 7 month olds, and they'll pop up on the Unsnap group, and I'm like, look, it's Ori, he's here. Look, it's
I
Kooky Lookie, he's here. Like I feel like
Captain
they're like,
Sticky, and I love all of the names.
I
Like,
know,
give it out to the kids.
like
Yeah.
it's just nice to know, like, especially while everything was really shut down, like, and things were still shut down when Holden was born and was in the NICU for like a month. And so people were checking in, people messaged, like, people who have never met us in real life. You know, people, I mean, we live in North Carolina, so people in northern Canada checking in to say, hey, I happen to be up with my baby, just wanted to check in how things are going. Like,
Isn't it amazing, Grace?
it's amazing. I love it.
Isn't it amazing? Like for me, this is like, oh my God, what are the chances of these two disparate people like would have never ever crossed each other's path? And not only did you cross your paths on the internet, but there's an intimacy between you.
I keep telling
And
Jesse, I was like, we need to go to Canada. I need to go to Canada, and I need my little baby to meet all his friends that he doesn't even realize he has right now, because I need to go hang out with their parents.
the good news is we are actually hanging out, and I think like I see whenever somebody comes to pick up a package at the door, and I'm like, I look at them and I talk to them like, okay, you are somebody that I would actually be friends with if we had met in the real
Yes.
whatever, in university or at work or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
We are all like, I feel in the community, it's almost the same kind of person living in another place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree completely.
Like, how do we keep that going now, Grace? How do we look for more people like you? How do we? It's like I look at you folks, like people in the Unsnap group, and just generally our patrons, all of our customers, and I'm like, wow, we've gathered these group of people. How do I find more of you?
There's just something built in, not even just to the Unsnapped group, but to the whole Lil Helper like company, and that it almost is just this organic thing that people share, people put up a picture on Instagram, or people ask questions, or people give, like, when we do baby showers, we always give things like burp cloths or bandana bibs or lifesaver mats, like always, because whether you cloth diaper or not, everybody goes crazy about those things because everybody sees they have a million uses. And so then more people kind of come in and like, but it's so cool because it's sometimes, you'll be reading posts or someone will share something going on, not even cloth diaper related. And you kind of have that moment of, we have cloth diapers in common, but outside of that, like, I don't know if you're a person I ever would have run into or formed this incredible friendship with, like, just because you're on the other side of the world, or we're very different people. And then I'm like, I never would have known that you're incredible, like, in that you're so funny, or you have this insight about this issue over here, that it blows my mind sometimes.
It does that for me every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how are these people all here? And how are they all so good? Something is happening. And that is what the more interesting question is, that even as the company is growing, that there is more to Lil Helper, I feel, than just the products or the customer service. I think all of it, the community, customer service, products, the way we are, the way you guys are, all of this makes for a great combination that I feel that people who are like us really enjoy.
Mm-hmm. And it's
crazy.
It's such a positive place. You know what I mean? Like, even if someone posts and is like, I am just having a hard day, like, or it's 3:00 in the morning and someone posts like, my kid will not sleep. Like, I'm awake. Is anybody else awake? Nobody ever feeds into the feelings of, like, if you post and you're like, I just feel inadequate as a parent today. Like, I can't get it together. Nobody feeds into that. The responses are always, yes, you can have a bad day, but you're crushing this week. Like, I mean,
Right.
like, I've even had people send us a Venmo to get coffee, like, because they were like, well, I know you're in the NICU. I know you're at the hospital.
From the Unsnap group, people have sent you a Venmo to go get yourself a coffee.
Yeah. Like, it's like everybody just looks out for each other. You know what I mean? Like, nobody is going to let anybody fall into that negative place where they kind of get sucked in and trapped. And
wow. I am blown away. I'll tell you a weird thing about the Unsnap group. It was started by this one guy that I had hired from BC 8-9 years ago, and Facebook groups were just starting, and he's like, make a Facebook group, it's going to be good for the business. I mean, I have no idea what Facebook groups are. I don't know who's interested in it. I don't know why would anybody join it. He's like, no, just do it. I'm like, okay, sure, we'll do it. It doesn't cost anything. So we just did it, and it was just literally there forever with like 5 people or say 7 people, and then suddenly it started growing, and these good people. Chris, do you see that there are like grandmas and grandpas in there and stuff like that? And like, it's amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it all. I love all of it, Chris. Chris, tell me, what is there one thing that we could do to make ourselves better, like Lil Helper?
I don't know. I feel like you guys are just really crushing it.
No, something has to, there has to be some scope for improvement. Yeah. I think with the website, I think a lot of the other technical issues have been solved.
See, that was the one thing that I was going to say is when you would have releases and then people would be like, but I didn't get to order because it crashed or whatever. But that's not an issue with the new website. Like, all of that kind of got solved. And
how do you like the new website? How do you like the new website?
I love it. And I loved the scavenger hunt to go find like all the things, because when you've been a customer for a while, like, usually if I get on the website, I know what I'm looking for. Like, oh, I know I need to get a burp cloth, or I know that I'm looking for some tank inserts. Like, but with the scavenger hunt, it was fun to go like, oh, they have bios of the whole team. I need to read all of these right now. Like, and just finding all those things that if you're not brand new to the company, you might not have stumbled upon just because you know what you're looking for, or you know the prints you want, but the shop by print feature.
Like that, I
I'm
fought for it
doomed.
so hard.
I'm doomed. Like,
I fought for it so hard, Grace. I fought for it so hard. Like, we need to have it. I like, dude. Nobody understood. Like, the developers didn't understand why we needed it. Like, who really shops by? Like, no. We have people who want this.
yes.
And it was like something that we really we have to have it and this and that. So this is something that even I was very happy about. Grace, has there been any other business that you've kind of come across that is doing what Lil Helper is doing?
No. Absolutely not. Especially not in the cloth diaper, baby, young child.
No, but just
world.
even generally, because I don't even look at Lil Helper as a cloth diaper company anymore. It's just we are
no.
a
There's
business.
just too much other stuff. Yeah. I just like the only thing I can even think of that gives me remotely like the same feeling as like Little Helper does, or like the Unsnap group does, and the ambassador is like, we live in a really small town, and there's a local brewery called Goose and the Monkey that we go to every single Tuesday for trivia night, like where you just kind of become kind of like a regular, you know what I mean? Like that
So they
is
know what you want to have.
exactly.
Like, they know your face and they're okay.
That is literally the only other thing I can think of that has that same kind of feel that Lil Helper does. Like, I can't, and that's not really a company. I mean, I guess it is, but
it is, yeah. It's a business, right?
Yeah, but no, like
I want to come across a company that does what Lil Helper does.
I know.
haven't. And I'm surprised. I am very surprised. Like,
well,
what we do is
so many are just more worried about how can you kind of cut corners and how can you save a couple bucks. And like, think about it. When you guys redid your diaper and you added the new band and you changed the inside, you could have really easily just said, well, we're going to change the snap placement so none of your old inserts work anymore. Like, if you still want to use our diaper, you're going to have to invest and redo everything. But instead, as a company, you said, no, we don't want to do that. We want to make it so that if what you're using works, but you want the new covers, you can still have the best of both worlds. Like, it doesn't have to be one or the other. Other companies don't do that. When they do a new model, they throw away everything else and start from scratch. So their consumers have to start from scratch.
And this is exactly the problem. They look at their customers, or that they don't look at them as patrons. They look at them as consumers.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want you to consume as much as possible so that they can make the most amount of money from you. You are no longer a person to them. Mm-hmm. You are a bank account. Let's see how much I can extract from you. I find that repulsive to my core.
Like, no, I have never seen any other company ever drop a new release or new products, new patterns, whatever. And every release I've ever seen, you say, there is enough, but get what you need. Don't feel like you have to buy it just to have it. Like, get what you really need. Other companies don't do that. They say, it's new, buy it, here it is. As opposed
and that just false sense of FOMO as well, like fear of missing out, where they say, oh, this is limited release. We only have very small quantities of it. Only the first few can buy. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
These people treat them with respect.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, as a business, you need to sell product. We need to sell product. I have a huge payment that I need to make to my suppliers, and I have no idea how I'm going to put that together, but it's going to happen. But it's not going to happen by me pushing down products through my patron's throat just because I need to raise a little bit of money. I need to do it more creatively or do it some other way. And that I feel like, and this is something that even as the business grows, I want to avoid, Grace. And I hope that you and other people, like, I look at you guys as like my board of directors and like, give us feedback. Like, if we send out an email that was too pushy, too salesy, I want to hear that from you guys. Like, no, this is not how Lil Helper speaks.
Mm.
This is, thankfully, you guys are giving us that feedback all the time, and I appreciate it a lot.
Like even like I think the closest thing to, if you can even call it limited release, was like the Waddle and Wash print. And I was so excited that like I got it when it was released because I was like, well, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. But then in my last order, my freebie diaper was still a Waddle and Wash, but in the new style, like with the belly band and
Yeah.
everything. So I was like, oh, so it was limited release, but you weren't annoying about it where it's like, oh, well, there's 200, and if you don't get it, good luck.
Yeah, no. For us, we always say that if we make something, we can always make more of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, once in a while, we I'm making a few blankets right now, like literally right now. I have them samples and some different materials and all of it. And we're making it right here in Toronto, and those will be like a little, because the material is, once the material goes away, I won't find that material again. Just like the t-shirt wipes, right? Something similar. But otherwise, I do not want to lie to you guys. I want to tell you the truth. This is how it is. If you like it, they might get over right now, but we'll get more of it at some point. I feel that sometimes I used to feel that this is too much information, but I want my people who buy from us, to be informed and know what they do. Grace, do you think we are doing a good job of communicating who we are to you guys?
I do.
Somebody who's new?
I do, absolutely. And I think if anybody even looks at even just the website, even if they never met like someone like me who's been using Lil Helper everything, like we have something of everything at this point forever, even if they just kind of stumbled upon your website, like the God forbid guarantee alone for so many people is huge. Like that, I mean, that alone, and it's not hard to find on the website. Like it's right there. Like it's not like you tucked it down in the corner that maybe someone will see this if they looked really hard for it. Like it's just that compassion and that love of people, not just love of selling to people. It's just built into the company and it's in the website. And I think that's why the Unsnapped group and everything works so well, because the people who are attracted to your company are also people who want to love people, not just love products.
Yes, that's it. You're right. That's the thing. It's a combination of everything, and that's why, in a good way, that is why it's also taking us time to grow the business.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are not just dumping people in, like, okay, just buy. No. We want to form a community. We want to form relationships. And yes, part of the way we do this all is through business. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it's through the use of capitalism, for use of a better word. This is a for-profit company. I've never lied to you guys. I've never told anybody otherwise. This is not a charity. We're running a business, but we want to do it in a generous way. Mm-hmm. By not pushing somebody down, by not winner take all mentality. How do we all win? Can we do something where we all can win? And I think that it is happening. When people see our reviews, they think they are fake because they don't want to believe that there are people like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. They think that's too good to be true. You're only posting the good reviews.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I can somehow tell the negative reviews to not post reviews, but people think that our reviews are fake. Did you do we actually come true to our reviews? Whatever reviews you see on Google, Facebook, anywhere.
I mean, I think absolutely. And to be honest, I don't think I've ever written a review.
Great. I'm disappointed.
I really don't think I have.
I'm sure you have, Grace. Come on.
I'm trying to think.
Come on, Grace. I feel like I've read a review from you, but it could just be that I've seen your name so many times here and there that
there are a couple other Graces in the group, though.
No, okay, but I know
I won't say I definitely have, but I'm not confident that I have written a review.
I could have gotten a free surprise. I read each and every review. I read each and every review that comes in. I still read every review that comes in. And this is my happy cry moment of the day when some happy customer. If there's a disappointed customer, like how do we fix this? What can we do for this one customer? And that has been like a ritual that I've done forever.
See, now I'm going to have to get off this call and be like, Uncle Mo, I'm so sorry. Here's my review of everything that I own.
I want a review about everything, Grace, whenever you have the time. But Grace, it's been such a fantastic, just been so great talking to you. Thank you so much for always being so generous with everything that you do.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Seriously, you and Jesse are truly an inspiration for me. Like I've only seen people like you in movies. No, I'm serious. I've only seen people like you in movies. You are real. There are people like you in the real world. It gives me hope that somehow there is the same kind of DNA that I have in me that could also do what you are doing so selflessly for other kids.
You're doing it. You're just doing it with your company.
Well, maybe, but still, what you are doing is like not even like what I'm doing is very selfish in a way. It is for my own good. I enjoy doing it, and I know it gives happiness to people, but it is selfish. What you are doing doesn't even compare. It doesn't even compare, Grace. Seriously. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate what you do. I love looking at your babies grow up. They give me a lot of joy. And I'm like, oh my, Grace has a new baby. Let's see what's going on. So thank you, Grace, for allowing me and the whole Lil Helper community for letting us be a part of your journey. Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you. It's been nice to have a place to kind of share some of the ups and downs of not just little kids, but of fostering and adopting and all the craziness that comes along with that. So
since you are here on the call, can I show you one thing that we're going to send with our with the pre-orders?
Yes.